brings you better coverage of the Cougars than 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
West Virginia is a really good team and a lot of talent. I mean, they've been struck down with a lot of injuries. That hurts any team. We've been part of that happening to us in the program. So I do know that they have an amazing head coach that is proven, and I know he'll have his guys ready. And we're looking forward to getting their best shot. I just got to make sure that we give them our best shot, too.
This is Hans Olsen and Scotty G, presented by Mountain Land Supply on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Hans Olsen, Scott Gerard, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Hey, remember, coming up on Friday, Hans and I are home away from home. Hans is going to make the trip up north to Bountiful, our favorite Mexican food place joint in the state. It's El Matador. Todd, Cammie, and the crew are going to be there serving up all kinds of great dishes, including the Hans and Scotty burrito, which my son, well, I have two sons that are working there now. My son says that it's still being asked for at a heavy rate.
I'm so glad.
I know, right?
A little spicy chicken.
Yes.
Christmas style, as Lloyd calls it.
Yeah. Green sauce, red sauce, and it's available for you. But El Matador, please plan on joining us a Football Friday coming up there from noon to 3. All right, time for a little joint custody action. Hans and Scotty and Greg Wrubell, the second parent of this relationship, kind enough to join us. Greg, how you doing?
Hey, Greg.
Hey, guys. How are you?
Well, Scotty's responsible for me today, so we're doing pretty good so far. How you doing, Greg?
Am I the fun parent?
Oh, you are definitely the fun parent.
There's no question, because I get on flights with you. We go on trips. You take me to great food places. Scotty, I just show up from noon to 3.
It's just work.
Yeah,
work with him.
Keeps me under his thumb.
He's like, look at these new pairs of shoes. And I'm like, oh, man, I can't compete with this.
Look what Greg. In fact, Greg, I wore one of my favorite tops that you got me into work today, and I was like, look at this, Scotty. It's an XLT. When did you ever give me an XLT? He cannot provide an answer. Greg, I wanted to start it with this. How has this team exceeded your expectations to this point, and by how far?
Well, I think we all thought they could be 3-0 heading into league, and so I think Colorado became the first real test to see if this team could start exceeding expectations, and I think they did that, especially falling down 14-0 as they did on the road. That was really the first adversity this team had faced, and the first adversity this freshman quarterback had faced, and I thought they responded really well. After those first two drives, I think Jay Hill and the defense really settled in and figured some things out, and the offense caught up, and that's a really solid win. BYU didn't cover, but conference road wins, you take them any way you can get them. And so 4 games in, I think we can say in one game they showed us something more that they had not needed to show us in the previous 3. So I think you could argue that down 14-0 on the road in a hostile environment, maybe a team that maybe if you thought that BYU hadn't done enough through 3 games, I think they showed you that. Let's put it that way, in the 4th game.
I'm glad you brought that up, because I would never say this to Kalani Sitake or Jay Hill or Aaron Roderick, but in a weird way, I kind of like the way BYU won that game, being down 14-0. Now, I'm sure you were thinking otherwise when it was actually 14-0, but to come back and win in that style, in that way, with a lot of adversity, with a Colorado team that was ramped up and really needed that game, I think it shows a lot about the mental toughness of this team.
Well, Hans and I were both saying, though, down 14-0, that we kind of been here before, and we both pointed to the Arkansas game, which kind of started in a similar way, a big special teams play, put them on top early. It wasn't necessarily a special teams play, but it was a first drive touchdown from Colorado. So BYU had kind of been in that hole on the road before and battled back to do it. And we also said, because it happened so early, it's a long game, Hans said. It's a long game and plenty of time to figure things out, and that's exactly what they did. But, yeah, it's good that they won the game that way. And also, too, when they came back from down 14-0 to take a lead, Colorado retook that lead and forced BYU to have a fourth quarter comeback for the win. It was BYU's first fourth quarter comeback for a win since the Utah game last season.
It's kind of interesting, Greg. I know that it's comparing apples and oranges, and it's just extravagantly different, the two teams, 2024 and 2025, but just in an effort to show what Aaron Roderick has pieced together, losing Jake Retzlaff when he thought he was going to have him, losing Hinckley Rapati when he thought he was going to have him, Keelan Marion when he thought, JoJo Phillips when he thought he was going to have him, maybe even Darius Lassiter and Caleb Etienne. I mean, there was a time there, wasn't there, Greg, where it was like, man, they might have Darius Lassiter in this next season. And I was just comparing 2024's numbers to current 2025, and I know it's kind of the early and maybe some of the easier parts of the schedule, but they've increased in almost every offensive category except for the passing offense. Everything feels a little bit better. So I go back to the question of your thoughts on Bear Bachmeier, his management, and Aaron Roderick's management of this offense.
For a true freshman to be doing what he's doing right now is exceptional. I think it's extraordinary. And Aaron Roderick would tell you the same thing. To be doing it with a kid this young in the system is very notable. It just shows how smart he is, how naturally gifted he is, and as good as he's been in guiding BYU to 4-0. I think Aaron Roderick came into this season knowing that whoever the quarterback was going to be, the run game had to be better from the start. I think he felt it finished all right, needed to start better, and it has started much better. You're 4 games in, so you're a third of the way into your schedule, and you're a top 10 league. You're a top 10 team in the country in rushing offense and rushing defense. And that's both per game and per carry on both sides of the ball. And so those kind of numbers really help Bear, game by game to rid himself of the training wheels, become a more proficient and comfortable and confident passer. It really has come together nice and early for Aaron Roderick. You mentioned a bunch of guys before. BYU's wide receiver room looks different with Keelan Marion, Darius Lassiter, and JoJo Phillips in there, and they don't have any of those guys. And you know what you've got in Chase, and he's a huge weapon for BYU. Parker and Cody are fast dudes, and they've shown it over their career at BYU. But the Cougars are missing some explosiveness they hope to have at wide receiver, so they've had to do it other ways. And I think Aaron Roderick believes that explosive plays don't have to limit themselves, to the wideout room. BYU's been a very good explosive run team at this point in the season. In fact, no team has more 40-plus yard runs than BYU right now. They're tied to the lead in big runs, and even just the smaller big runs, if you will. They have 35 runs of 10 yards or more. And for the teams that have played only 4 games, BYU is one of only 3 teams to have done that. So I think Coach Roderick has found a way to find big plays and chunk plays in maybe less traditional ways. And I think there's more to come from this offense when Bear becomes an even better passer.
Do you have any concern at all about depth at that running back spot?
Not really, because I think LJ's a workhorse. I think he can be a Tyler Algier type guy. And when Tyler was the guy, you didn't really have to worry about who was number 2 and number 3. They did just enough. So I think LJ can be the bell cow, and I really do believe that when you need 4th and 1 like BYU did last week in Boulder, Enoch Navahine can be a guy that helps fill that role. And then I still think it's coming. We are going to see some more burst calls and burst plays out of the backfield for guys like Preston Rex and Jovessa Demooney. So I really do think with those 4 guys, BYU is good to go as long as LJ Martin can stay relatively healthy, as healthy as a workhorse running back can be, at least.
And you talk about Tyler Algier, and I take a look at guys like Cam Scadaboo. BYU's got one of those guys on the roster. It's Jack Kelly. And I don't know if the offense is going to get any type of shot at him, but I'd love to see Jack carry the ball. But on the defensive side, the guy is extremely menacing. Just talk about how important he's been to the defense and what you saw from Jack Kelly that really helped turn the tides against Colorado.
We talked about Jack's tight end days at Kearns High School last night on the Kalani show. He was a big-time tight end in high school as well. Caught a lot of touchdowns and made a lot of grabs, but certainly on defense is where he's found his home. And we also covered this number last night. You combine his Weber State days with his BYU days, and he's up to 25.5 sacks now from the linebacker spot. And he is, and the coaches aren't shy about projecting him as an NFL linebacker. I mean, they're not concerned at all about him. They're not saying maybe he could. No, they're like, he's an NFL linebacker and a really good NFL linebacker at the next level. So that's what you're dealing with when coaches are that comfortable with projecting him already. You got something special. And Jay Hill talks about his 4-step acceleration. By his 4th step, he's kind of full speed on you, and you really only had to look at that last play of the game for Colorado offensively last week when Salter sprinted out to his right. And the reason I think he hurries his throw and throws behind the intended receiver that Glasgow picks is because he had this, white tornado bearing down on him. And Jack Kelly closes just that fast. It's fun to watch. I mean, Hans uses the expression shot out of a cannon, and it's pretty accurate when it comes to Jack because he can be from standing still to launching into you pretty quickly.
I'm pretty sure you probably don't enjoy these kinds of conversations, but this duo of linebackers, you've seen a lot of great linebacker combinations at BYU. In my opinion, it's got to be right up there. But you're a little bit more of the historian. Where would you rank them?
Mm. Well, they're in terms of linebacker duos, they have to be among the best BYU's produced, in part because they're different in their skill sets.
Yeah.
Isaiah is a little taller, maybe more of just like a natural kind of make any playmaker, whereas Jack Kelly is just that absolute, kind of bundle of speed in a tightly wound, more stoutly packed package, and yet they're both indispensable at BYU. Isaiah may be better in coverage. Jack's better probably against the run. So they each, kind of check boxes that the other may not check all the way. And you combine the two to really just kind of cover that part of the field, as well as I think any Big 12 team. Neither one was a preseason Big 12 linebacker. Both could be on that team by the end of the season. I'll be curious to see what kind of year they have the rest of the way. And then if voters would actually think about putting 2 BYU linebackers on that list, because I think they're both looking worthy of it right now, 4 games through 12 or 13.
Let's talk about the third linebacker in that room or on that front. I was talking about this at the start of the Cougar Preview show, Greg, how much I missed Shea Bryant-Strother. And I don't think people understand how good and how important he was going to be in this defense. And so you don't really understand the significance of his loss. With that being said, Ciale Serra's done a really good job of scraping, picking up the tackles. What have you seen from Ciale? What kind of feel do you get from Ciale Serra? And do you feel like he's getting the job done in that area that he needs to?
Yeah, I think people don't think about Che enough because it happened so early and the reports weren't coming out yet, the midweek availability reports, and it just kind of got lost in the shuffle a little bit. But I think he was going to have a great season. And I think a lot of people kind of expected that it would just be Ciale's job. And Che said, no, I'm going to fight for that job. And he made it so that it was going to be a timeshare between him and Ciale. Now with Che gone, Ciale's had to pick up the slack and do a little more. And you're probably more expertly qualified to talk about the kind of impact he's had. But, he's right there in the top 7 in BYU in tackles right now. He's had a TFL. He's gotten into the backfield. He's got a hurry on his tally. I think game by game we're seeing him become more comfortable. He's unlike the other 2 guys altogether too. He's more of a prototypical middle linebacker, if you will, the way he looks and kind of hunkers down there. We are seeing guys like Max Alford get reps there. They're not be refed behind Ciale, but I think what happened to Che is going to ensure that Ciale has the chance to make more of an impact at that Mike spot. And also, Hans, we see a ton of 42, right? We see a lot of 2 linebacker stuff from BYU. So Ciale's not getting the kind of snap reps that Jack and Isaiah are because they play so much nickel with 4 downs. So that's also part of it too.
Yep.
Greg Wrubell, voice of the BYU Cougars, kind enough to join us right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Greg, you have a West Virginia team who is not off to a great start. They got thumped at home by Utah. Now they're coming cross-country against BYU. Do you ever get concerned about the looking past an opponent vibe with this team or reading own press clippings, or do you feel like Kalani's usually got a pretty good handle on that?
I think he does, and I think we're just now starting to see the opportunities present themselves where that might be a factor. I think of last year when Oklahoma State came in, and we were already kind of seeing, cracks in the floorboards at Oklahoma State, and they came in, I think, expected to lose big and could have beaten BYU. And so I think of Oklahoma State as the most recent example of a game that, looked like it wasn't going to be much of one and turned out to be an absolute nail-biter. Here's the thing about West Virginia. They, since kind of surviving Pitt in overtime, have gotten thumped not just by Utah, but by Kansas too. They lost 41-10 and 48-14 in back-to-back weeks. And they're hurt. And they don't know who their quarterback is. And they're coming across the country. And they're playing at 10:36 body clock time. And they're on a short week. I mean, it's all set up to where if BYU has their house in order, that this should be a game they win and win handily. Now, having said that, West Virginia is the kind of team, because they are so ground reliant, that could, if they're making first downs at least, challenge BYU's possession time stat, which is really impressive right now. West Virginia, if there's one thing they can rely on, it's going to the ground. You can almost chalk them up for 150 every week on the ground, and usually 150 is enough to keep teams in the game. They ran for 260-something, I think, against Utah last week, even though they were getting blown out. They still managed to run the football. So that's a concern, but there's not a single thing that sets up well for West Virginia right now, other than the underdog mentality, us against the world, no one gives us a shot. I mean, Rich Rod was already saying this week, we may not even practice hard because we're banged up and we're traveling. And so I just, this is one of those games, the spread looks, unfortunately, for West Virginia about right. And with the exception of BYU not covering in Boulder, the Cougars have done a pretty good job taking care of business this season and recently.
Greg, I'm interested in what type of nuggets you picked up in the coordinator's corner from any of the coordinators that kind of stood out to you in regards to any of the adjustments they made against Colorado or any of the adjustments that they may make moving forward. What were you able to pick up from some of that?
Well, Jay Hill kind of agreed with the discussion we had that you were probably seeing Colorado run through their script at the start offensively. They wanted to do different things and did them against BYU. Once they showed their hand, Jay Hill and the defense adjusted to it. Aaron Roderick said too defensively that Colorado changed things up for BYU. Their game plan was to make sure L.J. Martin would not beat them from the running back spot. So it opened up quarterback run, and that's why you saw Bear Bachmeier have as many rushes, 15, as L.J. Martin that night. So I think if there's anything I gleaned from that day, it was the underlining of the fact that these guys, watch these first couple series with the wheels turning in their heads to figure out, okay, this is what we thought we might have to do today. Here's what we really have to do today. And sometimes it takes a couple drives to figure out exactly what's going to work. But when they figure it out, these guys, Jay Hill and Aaron Roderick, is as good as they come at adjusting on the fly, creating different game plans, and making those work for BYU. Aaron also used the words training wheels relative to Bear Bachmeier. They were on at the start of the year, and they're coming off. And 4 games in, you've got a fully equipped quarterback, I think, right now that's making a ton of on-the-fly decisions and making the right ones to help BYU succeed.
He is Greg Wrubell, voice of the Cougars. I know you're loving every little bit of this football run, as you should. This is awesome. This team is off to an undefeated start, nationally ranked. But deep down, you got to be a little fired up for basketball, right?
Yeah, no, I check out basketball practices while I'm doing football prep, and it's that time of the year when you can really get hyped for both programs. And yeah, it's going to be a blast. Going through some travel situations today and looking at the games and the venues and the opponents. It should be a really special season. It'll be unlike a season we've ever called at BYU, and that includes the Jimmer years. That senior season of Jimmer Mania was something pretty special, but this is something that the Cougs hit the ground running with AJ and others. And, obviously BYU's never, ever, ever been picked this highly in the preseason. The expectations have never been this high. And I don't want that to set BYU up for something that they can't possibly reach. I don't agree with the notion that it's, Final Four or bust. I don't think that's healthy. I mean, this is a program that's only been to the Elite Eight once, and that was 45 years ago. So putting that kind of pressure on BYU is maybe not fair. But I think it's fair to expect that this could be among the most exciting basketball campaigns we've ever seen, and certainly the most talent-laden group we've ever seen take the hardwoods at the Marriott Center. So from that extent, super excited, but it is still football season, and we're just getting going with that too. And we're only a third of the way, Hans and I, through this regular season. And every week gets more and more interesting and exciting. And you don't want to look too far ahead, but it's only a few weeks now where we're going to be going Utah, Iowa State, Texas Tech, and TCU in consecutive games. That's a gauntlet. And to get there, you've got to take care of business against West Virginia, then go back on the road. Arizona's, looks gettable, right? But every road game is a challenge, and then comes that, borderline murderer's row that I just mentioned. And if you can make it through that with 2 or 3 wins, you're probably going to find yourself in the running to get to Arlington at the end of the season.
Okay. That all being said, I want to take you in the DeLorean, hop in that car, go 88 miles an hour back to your first year was 2001, right? As full-time play-by-play?
Play-by-play.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And imagine telling 2001 Greg Wrubell that BYU would be in the Big 12. They'd be undefeated to start the season with expectations of being right there for a chance to play for a Big 12 championship game and a 5-star number 1 or number 2, depending on whose rating you go after, number 1 recruit in the country committing to BYU, and BYU being expected to be at least bare minimum Sweet 16, a good chance of Elite 8, and who knows after that. This is a crazy new world you're living in, Greg.
And then you could have told me that my broadcast partners are Hans Olsen and Mark Durant.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. I mean,
You
it just keeps getting better and better at that point.
Yeah, I know, right?
No, it's a great business to be in and a great profession to be involved with. And I think my job's, a dream job for me. And I never get less excited as each season rolls around, and just super fortunate. And there's no better time to do what I do. I'm just so glad that BYU has won enough to be considered as one of those programs, in those power conference levels, and then continuing to win enough once they get there to show they were worthy of that selection. It's a great time to do what I do and to be with Hans, and hopefully our listeners get a sense of that when they tune us in.
Greg, you're the best. We appreciate it. Thanks for your time, and enjoy what should be a fun call coming up Friday night.
See you Friday night.
Thanks. And Scotty, by the way, a shout out to you as well, because you do the same thing we do, and you do it at a really high level. And I know that working with Bronco is something I'm sure you are enjoying, because I certainly did when he was down here with us. And so continued success to you in what you do. You're a busy man, and you do your job really well. So thanks.
That means a lot, Greg, especially coming from you. I really appreciate that. And you know what? It is my life's goal to get into Broncos' inner circle. Like, you know what? I'm going to win him over. I'm going to. And I told Hans, I don't care how long it takes, but I'm going to get into that inner circle with Bronco.
Can I just mention, though, Greg, I think he did it. Because as you know, he's actually a sentimental man.
Yes.
And Scotty took some steps, and it feels like you may be in the inner circle.
I think we're getting very close. I think I figured out how to get to Bronco's heart a little bit.
Sentimental things.
And it's not football.
Nope.
You hosted a lot of coaches shows with him, and I was talking to him last week, and I was going over, hey, look, you know what? We can do this. We can do this. Am I leading you in the right direction? He goes, I'd like to talk more about the principles of our program, not necessarily the X's and O's. And I'm like, done. I love that stuff.
Do it.
So
at least he didn't say just don't do what Greg did.
I love him, though. What he's doing in Logan is no surprise, I'm sure, for you and people down at BYU that got to know him, but he is doing some incredible work up there.
Yeah, and he will do, and I know you'll continue to enjoy your time with him. And, I'm sure you're in already, and he appreciates anybody that is dedicated to their job the way that you are.
I appreciate it. Thanks, Greg. Yeah. You're the best.
Thanks, Greg.
Okay,
there he is.
I'll see you soon. See you soon, Hans.
Yep.
Greg Wrubell, play-by-play voice of the BYU Cougars. You can't find a more genuine good person than Greg.
To the core. I'm telling you, man, to the core.
I mean, we joke about, like, Greg, whether or not he'll have some fun and take a jab here and there, but genuinely, like, we've known a lot of people in this business.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people that appear to be good people, but kind of aren't.
Yeah.
And Greg is everything you would expect him to be.
Yes.
Just genuinely the most helpful person on the planet, will go out of his way to do anything for you. And I can't thank him enough for being a bit of a mentor for me in this whole play-by-play thing, a guy that I've leaned on a bit.
He's good, and he loves you. He loves your work.
Yeah.
He really does. He mentions that to me quite often. I hope I didn't overstep my bounds by mentioning that you may have gotten into the...
No. Hey, look, I told you I was committed. And so...
Because I think you're doing all right.
We're working on it.
I actually got a text about it.
Did you really?
Yeah, I forgot to tell you. Yeah.
Well, we got to go to break. I got to hear about this.
Yeah.
Hans and Scotty, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Let's go! Complete game coverage of the Cougars is right here on the KSL Sports Zone. The Cougars welcome in West Virginia to Lavelle Edwards Stadium for a battle with the Mountaineers. Your home for the best coverage of Cougar football is right here on 97.5 the KSL Sports Zone. This is Hans Olsen and Scotty G, presented by Mountain Land Supply on 97.5 the KSL Sports Zone.
Hans Olsen, Scott Gerard, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Big thanks, as always, to the play-by-play voice of the BYU Cougars, Greg Wrubell. All right, Hans, BYU, West Virginia, Friday night. You played at BYU. You know what it's like to have that quick turnaround. I think probably every year you played at BYU, you probably got Utah State in that Friday game, right?
Utah State in the Friday game. We always played one Thursday game, too.
Okay, so you know what these short weeks are like. Is it difficult to try to?
No.
In fact, you probably like it.
I did. Yeah, I liked it. The quicker I could get to the game, the better. The fewer practices I had, the better. I wanted to play games, so it's kind of nice when a game comes around. It might be rough if it's a road game against a ranked opponent, because then I want more time to take a look at the opponent, to really prepare, because we may have to get in some gadgetry and we might have to fight tooth and nail. So there might be some things that I need extra time for. But for the most part, I loved, before you could overthink it, just getting on the field and doing it. I had no problem with that. What I don't like is that it's another 8:30 kick.
Yeah.
And it's like...
They're really picking on you guys on those 8:30s, man.
Is it wearing on BYU coaches and players as much as it wears on me, or no? Probably not. I mean, maybe more. I don't know.
I would think as much, if not more, because I mean the time you guys put in. Well, frankly, the time you guys put into that broadcast is crazy.
Yeah, we put
the
a lot
time
of time
commitment, a lot of time into that bad boy. But I mean, you're not out of there until 2:30, 3 a.m. More often than not. Then you gotta go get your swatchos run.
Yeah.
And then, and so like I imagine the coaches are doing the same thing. Like the game's over. All right, well, let's go break down our next opponent. Let's get all the film ready for that. And I can't imagine what that turnaround's like.
It's got to be tough.
Yeah.
So you got an 8:30 kick against West Virginia, and this is just following other 8:30 kicks. And that Colorado game, it kicked late. Arizona was announced. It's a little bit earlier. It's 6 p.m., so a little bit better. Be curious what they do with this BYU-Utah game. They won't bury that at 8:30, will they?
Yes. Yeah, they will. I mean, I'm anticipating they will. Lloyd,
they've done it. They've done it in the past.
Yeah.
Hey, did you see the viewership numbers on BYU Colorado?
Woo! Yeah, how about that?
2.8 million. 2.8 million. I think it was the fifth highest viewed or sixth?
Yeah, it was right up there. And it's a little bit of the prime factor as well, but also BYU.
A lot of the prime factor. And it falls way short of the 8 million that watched the Alamo Bowl.
Yeah.
But still, a good amount of people tuning in at 8 p.m. to watch BYU kick off against Colorado. I got to imagine it's starting to wear on them a bit.
Has to. Absolutely has to.
I know when I was playing college football, nights and days, they didn't mean much. I just needed sleep at some point.
Yeah.
The problem was carving out the sleep at some point because, I liked.
Hey, you got to win.
I liked the public gatherings.
Was there a win or lose? Was there always a public gathering after a home game? Just wins.
Just wins.
Okay.
No. When I lost, it was not fun.
Was there a public gathering you just would not attend? or nobody was throwing a public gathering.
You know what's funny? This is the truth. The truth is your parents come to watch you, and they're there. You go, and my brother would always come, sisters oftentimes. It's always a family affair.
Okay.
It's you always just the problem is like when we'd win, me and the family, we'd go hit like Village Inn, late night, skillets, we'd stay up, maybe watch a movie, have some laughs. When we'd lose.
If only Bam Bams was around then. Would have been nice.
Oh, jeez. I'd have taken the whole family.
Weezer assemble.
54 Olsons marching in to see Cam at 3:30 in the morning. Cam!
Hey!
Open the door!
I know it's locked and I know the lights are up, but I swear I see you in the background there.
I see you.
And then when I bump into him, I'll just be like, Cam, if you just leave me a key.
Yeah, we'll take care of it.
Just leave me a key and leave a couple of things in the smoker.
Yeah, I can make my way around there. It's fine.
But, oh man, Scotty, after that Virginia loss, we lost to Virginia. It's like, I can't remember. It was like 42-45.
Yeah.
That was that Thomas Jones.
Thomas Jones was running wild.
And one of my family members said something to me. We were walking out to the car. One of my family members said something, and I dropped a few F-bombs, and which I don't do in front of my family.
Especially when you were a student at BYU.
Not a chance.
No.
And I still regret it. My aunt and uncle flew out to Jacksonville to watch our game against Florida State, the opener.
Oh, yeah.
We lost that game.
Another tough one, yeah.
I ignored them. Went right to the bus. They were like, hi. They had a sign that's like, we love 72. And I just walked right to the bus. My aunt just reminded me about it a couple weeks ago. She's like, that hurt me pretty bad. I was like,
I sure hope Fawn gave you the business. I really do. Jeez, you want past them?
Everybody. Yeah, it wasn't just aunt and uncle. It was everybody. And I went to the bus. I went to the room. Got on the flight and headed home.
Got your chicken sandwich.
Yep. Didn't even say.
Oh boy.
How we doing? But that losses. Okay. That's actually a good point you bring up. So you kick me off at 8:30, and I win. Well, I'm doing okay, I think.
Yeah.
If I lose one of those 8:30s, and you put me short week on an 8:30, that's a problem. But if I go to Colorado, I beat Colorado. I got an 8:30 on a Friday against West Virginia. I'm actually probably feeling pretty good about it.
Okay.
So you lose. You're willing to take an omni shift of bouncing,
just to punish somebody.
Just give me one round.
Give me a shift,
country
please.
night. Country night.
Bring back Oasis.
Give
Let's
me my
go.
kickers.
Or it wasn't Oasis. Who was it? That they had that they told the guys to just run up on the stage.
Offspring.
Offspring, yeah.
Offspring. Oasis is that's the Gallaghers?
Yeah, the brothers. Yeah. They
Champagne,
hated each other.
Champagne Supernova?
Yeah.
I actually wouldn't mind bouncing for them either.
Yeah, I'm sure you could knock a few elbows on that one.
I told you the worst bouncing job of my life was the Bayside Boys, the Macarena.
Really?
Yeah.
That sounds like the fifth circle of hell right there.
That's all they got.
It was an hour and a half of Macarena, and I was front stage. But that's all they got. So it was, hey, Macarena. And I'm like, oh my, I'm going to hurt somebody, and I'm the bouncer.
Yeah, you needed Carlos to bounce.
Yeah,
you.
it's like, get all back. Because I was done with the Macarena.
Was it well attended?
Yeah, it was jam-packed.
Oh, jeez.
Jam-packed.
Well, I mean, it was the late 90s. That was kind of a thing back then.
Yeah, and they just kept doing the clapping thing.
Lloyd,
just kept doing the
Lloyd, no.
And they had the dancers up there. And it was like the dancers were, but it's like, you see the Macarena for an hour.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, hey, Bayside Boys,
again.
next song, Bayside Boys.
It's like last year when Shabuzi was outside of Delta Center and they played Tipsy, like he did Tipsy like 10 times. Is that the name of the song?
Yeah, Tipsy.
Get a little tipsy?
Shabuzi.
Yeah, something like that.
I think that's right.
It's tipsy.
Hey, look, if you've got it, you flaunt it,
Well,
And I think everybody was fine with him playing that over and over and over
Give the people
again.
what they want. But sooner or later, you're going to have to broaden your horizons a bit.
Do you know there was this rumor that spread through the Club Omni that the Backstreet Boys were coming?
I actually remember that.
Yeah, and so I was bouncing that night, and it spread that they were just coming to the dance club because they were just going to kind of mix and mingle.
A little secretive
at the club,
Yeah.
and maybe there's going to be, and the fever pitch that place hit. There were girls in there. They would come up to me and they were like, "Are they coming? Are they coming?" I'm like, "I think they might be coming," and then they would run it. They try to go get gussied up, because they want to have the highest hair that they can have.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was past the high hair. We were out of the high hair days.
Yeah, but
we were in the crimping.
There were still some kids coming down from Idaho that probably still had the,
There had been some
had the
claws.
claws.
Yeah, there were some tidal waves.
Yeah.
The fly swatters, they
A
call
little
them.
flock of seagulls.
Yeah, fly swatters. Get the flies off the ceiling. But they didn't come.
Yeah, you think?
They never came.
Yeah, this is like the Michael Jordan coming and playing one-on-one with B-Russ.
Backstreet was hot.
Yeah.
Backstreet Boys. Blackstreet was even hotter. You remember Blackstreet?
Oh, yeah.
Even hotter.
I don't know if they were
Blackstreet?
over
No
the
diggity?
Backstreet Boys. Look, I'm not hating on Blackstreet.
Man, No Diggity was so hot.
No Diggity was great, but in terms of overall reach,
Maybe it was. It was probably Backstreet Boys.
yeah. All right, 250. We'll wrap this thing up next.
Oh, this was hot.
There you go. Hans and Scotty, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Nobody gets you ready for Utah football more than the KSL Sports Zone.
Ready?
It's a bye week for Utah as Kyle Whittingham gets his squad ready for the second half of the season. Your home for the best coverage of Utah football is right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. This is Hans Olsen and Scotty G. Presented by Mountain Land Supply on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
All right, wrapping up another edition of the show. Hans and Scotty, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Wrapping up your Cougar Preview show. BYU, West Virginia, coming up Friday night. That's right, Friday night kickoff. At least it'll be a late one, Hans, but at least you have a full weekend to recover from it.
Yeah, it'll be nice to have a Saturday and a Sunday. We will still do the Sunday morning podcast.
Correct.
So don't think you won't get that just because Utah State, Utah on buys. We are still going to put together a Sunday morning podcast for you, which is doing better this year than it did last year.
It's growing.
It's growing. The trajectory is good.
But
It's promising.
Yes.
But we would encourage you still to go and listen to it every weekend
Please.
so that it doesn't go away.
We hope the trajectory in the fourth quarter continues.
Yes.
Yeah, we're hoping that you continue to listen so that we can continue to do it, because if you don't, then we can't.
Perfectly said.
Yep.
It's that simple. All right, you preview show coming up tomorrow. Frank Dolce, we think. We're always on Frank time, so we anticipate Frank Dolce will be with us tomorrow. And then on Friday, remember, we'll be live at El Matador in Bountiful. Best Mexican joint ever. I'm not exaggerating. Get there now, El Matador. We will be there Friday from noon to 3 for the lunch hour. So stop by, grab yourself a bite to eat, hang out with me, Alema, Hans, and Coach Ron McBride.
And come have the warm salsa and shredded cheddar cheese.
Yeah. Hey, by the way, Lloyd, if Coach Mack is not feeling well, would you quit manipulating him into coming?
Yes, I will do that.
You're getting really forceful.
It's not okay, man. Like, if
Okay.
he's not up for it.
Coach Mack told Lloyd, "I don't feel well." Lloyd said, "Well, then let's just call this good.
Yeah.
How about you pack your stuff and you go?"
Lloyd said something along the
don't do
lines,
that.
I have a
Don't.
warm glass of shut the hell up.
Because
You just pulled landscaping duty, Coach.
oh, your back hurts, huh, Coach?
Now your fingers are going to hurt. Now,
Oh, your fingers hurt. Now your back's gonna hurt because you just got landscaping duty.
don't do that to our coach.
Yeah.
Don't do that because people are really going to believe that. I tried to get
They
Coach,
should
and Coach
really
would
believe it.
not. Coach was having none of it.
I love it. All right. JJ Alex next, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.